Welcome. Hi. Oh my God. Hi. Hey. Hi. Hello. Welcome back to the second episode of Excuse Me While I Heal Out Loud, the baby, I guess, to my podcast, People, Places, Things, that launches in May. This has been a week. Huh? This has been a fucking week. Let me tell you, this has been a week. The lighting is probably going to be off. I'm going to figure the lighting out for when the podcast actually happens. Listen, you got to work with what you got. You got to work with what you got. You got to start where you're at. I think I said that last episode, maybe. But you got to work with what you got. And we are working what we got, okay? I'm doing the best I can over here. It also is nighttime, and I usually like to do this during the day, but I ran out of time. So now we're doing it at night. So we're working with a low light, and we're working with my kitchen lights, which makes it look weird. But I'm not gonna turn the light off. Doesn't matter. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's not about the lighting. It's about the message that I have. Okay. So focus. You worried about the wrong shit. Focus on the message, not the aesthetics. Okay. Anyways, but yeah, it's been a week, and unfortunately, I cannot talk about this week without tearing up, just because it's just been a lot. Like it's just been a lot. But it's life, and God is good, and everything works out the way that it's supposed to. So that is where we're at. I don't know. I hope everybody else's week has been good. Hopefully this is out on Friday. These were supposed to be out on Wednesdays, but again, life be life, and babe. So I hope everybody is having a good week so far. I hope everyone's having a better week than I am having. And if you're not, tomorrow's a new day. Next week is a new week, and nothing lasts forever. Everything is temporary, good and bad. So you'll get through it. I'll get through it. We'll all get through it. And the world is weird right now anyway. So like, we just gotta keep our head above water, babe. And I know that seems hard and that seems like impossible sometimes, but yeah, everything will be fine. Everything will work out. But yeah, so again, welcome to Excuse Me While I Heal Out Loud, the podcast to my podcast, the mini series podcast for the month of April, until my actual podcast launches in May. So yeah, I hope we get comfortable. I just want to chit chat again about healing, because I am in my healing era. That is kind of like the era that I am just kind of sitting in, and I've been in it for, I can't really see myself because this camera is so far away. The only reason it's this far away is because again, we're not worried about the aesthetics right now. We got a message. I got something on my heart. So that's what we're worried about right now. Okay. We're not worried about the aesthetics, but I keep having to explain myself, because you're probably like, why is it so far away? And why is it so blank behind you? Listen, hey, gotta work with what we got, babe. But, anyways, so yeah, I'm in my healing era. And I think that is such a buzzword right now. I think to be healing sounds, what does that mean, right? Like what does that even mean? What does like healing mean? And honestly, it looks different for everybody. It's going to feel different for everybody. It's going to mean something different for everybody. And if you are actually in your healing era and you're actually trying to heal from something, I applaud you, because it is hard and it's not fun and it's not comfortable. It's uncomfortable. If you get to the point of the healing where you are uncomfortable, it is so uncomfortable. Because it's a lot of facing, it's a lot of truths, it's a lot of like self-awareness, it's a lot of stuff that you're like, oh, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of past that point in a sense. I think the healing part that I'm in is where I need community, which is why last week's episode was about like community and friendship and just like not always needing isolation. Because I think I know I am in the part of my healing era where I need community and I need people. And I need like a sense of like I'm not alone, and I have people that feel like family. And that's all, like, that's what last week was about, basically. Just to recap, I guess, that's what last week episode was about me just finding that part of life and hopefully trying to hold on to it, and hopefully that it is genuine and it's real and it's authentic always, and I show up like that and other people show up like that in my life. Because the first part of my healing, I feel like, was isolation. For like, I would say for the first 9 months of me becoming single and living by myself, or with my kids, becoming a single mom and living by myself, I didn't do anything. I didn't go anywhere. That is a larger story, a bigger story for another time. But the healing part of it came in the isolation. And I don't necessarily recommend that for everybody. But again, like I said last episode, I'm very good at being alone. And I'm very good at sitting with myself and being with myself. Although I did develop some bad habits during that time. So again, for another time. But I did develop some bad habits during that time in isolation. So it was kind of like I was isolated, but I also was numbing the pain, if that makes sense. So, I think that the isolation part of healing is very important because it allows you to kind of face it all. And everything, I truly believe that everything, your life changes when everything falls apart. I think that when you lose everything, or everything starts to become uncomfortable and you start to not be able to move in the environment that you're in comfortably anymore, that's when your life is about to change. That's when everything is about to get better, essentially. And that's kind of what was happening. And that's kind of what the uncomfortable part was. It's like everything felt foreign to me. Everything felt different and weird. And I didn't understand what was happening. And I was in a season of my life where nothing felt how it had felt the past 33 years. Everything felt different. And it forced me to like sit in a very uncomfortable place for months and months and months and months. And I had to do it. And I'm grateful that I did do it, because it was a way, I think, that made me a little bit unshakable. Like, you can't tell me nothing about me, right? Because I face myself in so many dark places. Like, I've crawled myself out of dark places many a times throughout my life, but that was like really, really, really dark there for a minute. And to crawl yourself out of something so dark by yourself, nothing can break me now. Like, I'm just like, I just feel like I'm so unshakable now. I don't think you always have to go through that to become excuse me, I think I need some water. But you don't always have to become that or you don't always have to go through like the trials and tribulations to become unshakable. But it does help to become resilient and to have a little bit of grit behind you. Even though I already had that and I already had the resilience, that put me in a different mindset, that if I can get through that, baby, I can get through anything. But again, like it's just like healing is not linear either, because now like I find myself in a different phase in my healing journey, and I find myself kind of getting like healing fatigue. I don't know if that's a real word, but like I don't know if that's a real thing, but like sometimes it feels like that. And so there was like a few months where I just said fuck it, and I'm just about to be outside and I'm about to do what I want to do, because all right, we get it, you're healing, babe, like okay, enough is enough, like I want to have some fun. But and then there's a way to also do that too. There's a way for that balance. There's a way for duality, and to have that balance of like healing but also like having fun and kind of taking a break and kind of just like being like, all right, you don't always have to be in your feelings, because healing is a lot of thinking about yourself all the time, and that is not always fun, because you're constantly thinking about, well, why is this like this, and how come this is like this, and why does this happen this way, and well, what does this mean, and what did this mean, and how do you know all that, and becomes very overwhelming over time, and it becomes exhausting to continuously think about why and how and when and all of this stuff, and be so introspective all the time can be very daunting, and it can be very exhausting. So there was like a brief period where I was like, I'm outside, I don't feel like feeling right now, like it's a lot of feeling, so much feeling, but right now I'm back in it, because I noticed that there was some parts of me still that there was still some stuff that I just wasn't, that I'm like not, I just know who I want to be, right? Like I know the woman that I want to be, and anything about myself that doesn't align with that, and I'm talking about me, like any behavior that I have, any habit that I have, any way that I'm moving that doesn't align with the woman I want to be, I need to check it, because healing is exhausting. And mind you, I'm undoing 34 years of who I was. So it's not like you're healing and you're like, oh, I'm just healing from childhood wounds. I'm healing from mommy wounds. I'm healing from father wounds. I'm healing from breakups. I'm healing from friendships or whatever. And no, me personally, I'm healing from bad habits, bad coping mechanisms, things, a way of living and a way of survival that I've done for the past 34 years. And that is a lot to undo. And you have to have grace for yourself in this time period, because I have been this person for 34 years. I haven't always handled stuff the best way. I haven't always dealt with things. I can be very avoidant. So I haven't always dealt with things in the best way. And so, but I have to also give myself grace in this space that I'm in right now, because you only do what you know. And once you know better, you do better. So now that I know, and now that I'm looking at myself in a different light, and I know the woman that I want to be, anything that's not aligning with that about myself, I got to check it, and I got to try to figure out, okay, why are you doing that? Why are you feeling like that? Why are you allowing that? Whatever. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I kind of had to take a step back and be like, all right, where I'm at now as far as healing, and why I wanted to create the series in the first place, because in the moment of isolation and while I was healing, I think there was times where I did need somebody, and so I did a lot of my healing alone. So this part of my healing and this phase or this journey that I'm on, I want to do this part out loud. I want to heal out loud. I want to live my life out loud. I want to, because there was a time where this, the place that I was in was eating me alive. And I did it. And I did a good chunk of it by myself, with God and my therapist and a journal, but with no other community other than that for months and months and months and months. And so this part I want to do out loud. This phase of my life I want to hopefully share, and hopefully it resonates with somebody. And if anybody needs it, and if anybody feels it, and if anybody is going through it, I'm here for you. And I know people say that all the time, but genuinely I am. Because nobody should have to do any healing or any going through anything alone. And I guess like, what does that mean for you? Like, what does healing mean for you? Because I hear a lot of people talk about it, and for me it has nothing to do with like the internet or buzzwords or books or anything like that. It had to do with, I took a look at my life and I said, I can't live like this anymore. Like, I didn't like how I felt. I didn't like how I looked. I didn't like how I was living. I didn't like how I was moving. I didn't like myself or my life or my situation or any of it. Any part of it I didn't like. And I was making mistakes still that I used to make when I was a teenager. I was moving in a way that I used to when I was younger. And I said, to ever have anything real in my life, to ever move forward in my life, I have to heal, because this is going to eat me alive. This is going to be the death of me. If I don't do this now, if I don't fix this now, I will easily become the person that says, well, this is just how I am. This is just who I've always been. And I can't live my life like that, because like I said, the woman that I want to be moves so different. So I can't rest on the fact that like, oh, this is just who I am, because healing isn't easy. So it's much more easy to stay in your own shit, to be the person that you don't want to be. Even though you are uncomfortable in that situation, it's so much easier to stay in that than it is to like evolve. And it sounds like, well, why would I want to stay in a fucked up situation? Well, because you're comfortable, and comfortability is what keeps everybody stagnant and stuck. Because who wants to face themselves? Who wants to face reality and the truth about their life or themselves or their circumstances? Nobody really does. Nobody really wants to do that. Everybody talks about it, but nobody really wants to be self-aware. And then there's self-awareness, and then there's emotional intelligence, and then there's accountability, and there's, all that stuff. So I just like basically looked at my life and I said, I don't want to live like this anymore. I can't do this. I can't be this person anymore. I got to grow up. Yes, even in all of this kind of happened around like 30, 31, like 30, 31, whatever. And I was like, I have to grow up, and I got to start moving how I want to move in life. And this isn't it. And so for me, healing meant I do this and I take this serious, or I let my past, I let my anxiety, I let who I was, I let my bad coping mechanisms, my bad habits, I let all of that eat me alive and make me become a person who is unhappy with their lives. So it was either heal or die, in my opinion, in the way that I was viewing it at the time. Because that's what my life had felt like. It felt like I settled. It felt like I was alive, but I wasn't living, kind of thing. And so that's what healing meant for me. And that's why I healed. And that's why I'm like in this era right now. And that's why I'm in this phase right now. And I'm not giving up, as hard as it is. Like, even this week alone was hard for it, because I'm still not all the way there. So I'm still making mistakes that I'm beating myself up about and stuff like that. Here nor there. But like, I also feel like that is a good place to start if you are trying to, go on a healing journey or whatever that looks like for you. A good place to start is, do you want to? And why do you want to heal? For me, I had no choice. I have no choice but to do the work. I have no choice but to face myself and look at myself and become better, do better, know better. I don't have a choice, because if I don't, I'm never going to have anything worth having. I'm never going to have a healthy relationship. Fun fact, I've never had a healthy relationship. I've never been in a healthy, like, romantic relationship or friendship in my entire life. And that says so much, right? So like I got to figure out why, because eventually I want that. Eventually I want healthy. Eventually I want growth, or not eventually I want growth, but eventually I want healthy, and I want to learn how to love a healthy way. I want to learn how to be a better woman for my future man or my friends, and or I want to learn how to be a better daughter. I want to learn how to be a better everything. And all of that has to start somewhere. And for me, it starts with healing all the parts of myself that I had been holding on to survive. Like things that I was doing to stay comfortable in my life, because I was uncomfortable in my life. I didn't like my life, but I had developed certain bad habits and coping mechanisms, stuff like that, to deal with it, I guess. And so that's kind of why I decided, that was the first step for me, was to be like, okay, why do I want to heal? I looked at myself. I said, you got to do this. You have to do this. If you don't do this, and it sounds dramatic because it's like, well, if you don't do this, you give up. But it's like, well, you don't have to do that. But like in my mind, I'm very much like a 0 to 100 kind of person. So I'm like, if you don't do this, then everything else stays the same for the rest of your life. And are you okay with that? Are you okay right now with everything staying exactly how it is? If you're okay, cool. Don't change then. Cool. Do exactly what you're doing. Wake up every day exactly with your life being like this. And I personally wasn't okay with it. I personally didn't want that. So that was my why. So you got to find your why when it comes to healing. I know it might sound like I kind of like jumped into it, but basically I'm basically just, to reiterate, I'm basically just saying what healing means and what it looks like for me. And that, again, this is my opinion. This is from experience. This is from things that I've learned, and researched and things like that. So I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. This is me. This is coming from 5 years of therapy also, and schooling. And so I think that I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, but again, I'm also human. And I'm also a very emotional person. So, and I can be very dramatic. So, that's why I kind of just, I love the topic of mental health and healing, because I don't think that we're having the conversation, but I don't think we're having the conversation. And so I want to have the conversations, but first we got to figure out, like, why do you want to heal, and why is that important to you? And do you really want to, or do you want the aesthetic of healing? Because there is a difference. The aesthetic of healing is being like, yeah, you know, all of the buzzwords, you know what gaslighting means, you know what narcissism means, you know, all of the buzzwords and you know how to talk about it. But are you actually doing the work? And so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be someone who is actually doing the work. And I really, really did. And it started with me facing myself and saying, I can't be this person anymore, because I want better for myself. I want to heal because I want to be a better mom. I want to be a better woman. I want to be a better girlfriend in the future. I want to be a better friend. I want to be a better worker. I want to be better all around. I can't do that holding on to everything that I was holding on to. There's no way I can be a good mom still holding on to childhood stuff. There's no way I can be a good mom holding on to everything that I was. There's no way I can be a good girlfriend in the future and future wife holding on to past relationship stuff and past and bad habits and stuff like that. There's no way I can ever build good friendships with people if I'm still carrying all this shit around. And so that's why I was like, I gotta do this. I owe it to myself. I owe it to my kids. I owe it to God, and I owe it to my future to for real do the work, right? Not just make it look like I'm doing it, but for real do it. And that meant that meant isolation at first. That meant isolation. That meant a deep, deep, uncomfortable self-awareness and looking at myself in the mirror and listing all the things that I've ever done wrong. Now, mind you, my therapist would be like, you always focus on the things that you do wrong, Renita. But still, that was a part of it. Everything that I've ever done wrong, everything that I've ever said, everything that I've ever felt that was wrong, everything that I've ever, everything. It meant looking at it meant looking on the outside of myself and being like, this is who I've been. All right, cool. Now what? Right? Because I can't beat myself up about a person that I was when I didn't know better and when I didn't have the tools to do better. And so a part of healing, which I think comes a little bit later, is forgiveness. And so I think you have to forgive yourself for everything that you didn't know that you were doing, or like the parts of you that weren't healed. You have to forgive yourself for how you treated people. You have to forgive yourself for what you also allowed, because a lot of the times we think, oh, I'm such a good person, I can take anything. You being a people pleaser does not make you a good person, by the way. You being somebody who can take a lot of pain and a lot of bad stuff from people, or you being able to take on a lot of people's bad behavior, doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't even necessarily mean that you have a big heart either. That's not what that really necessarily means all the time. But you still can forgive yourself for that though, and be like, I deserve better. I deserve to have boundaries, and I deserve to not allow people to walk all over me. It doesn't make me a good person because I let people walk all over me, because I essentially don't have a backbone, I guess. But yeah, for me, it was looking at myself and being like, this is everything that I've ever done wrong. This is everything that I've ever said, felt, whatever that was wrong or that I felt like I needed to fix. It was looking at myself and being like, okay, well, how'd you get here? And, listing all of that or whatever. And then I think a big part of it is acceptance. I think a big part of healing is accepting. So I did all of that, right? I did this in my life. I did this. I hurt this person. I hurt that person. I allowed this person to do this to me. I allowed this person to hurt me in this way. I allowed this and I allowed that. I looked at myself and I had to, take full accountability for the parts that I played in the downfall of my life, right? I had to take full accountability for the part that I played in the downfall of maybe someone else's life, the hurt that I caused somebody else, the hurt that I have been holding on to as some sort of like, well, this is, you did this to me, so now this gives me justification to whatever. I had to look at myself and be like, okay, this is who I am right now. Now, who do you want to be? I know who I don't want to be. And I think that's a good place to start, is maybe if you can't look at the person you want to be, maybe look at what you don't want to be. And everything I was is what I didn't want to be. Now, mind you, was still some good stuff there, because I'm not a psychopath and I'm not a completely terrible person, but there's a lot of unhealing, and there's a lot of it's years of it too. It's years, and it's so exhausting. And it's traumatic stuff. It's like, man, this is a lot. I'm exhausted. Wow. I keep on feeling like this and doing this and crying and being mad and all this other stuff. This is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. If you're really doing the work, it is a lot. Because like I said, you're undoing years and years and years of the person that you were. So it's supposed to be a lot. If you're doing it right, it's supposed to be a lot, and it's supposed to be uncomfortable, and it's supposed to hurt. And you're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall back into old habits or do other things because you're learning. So please give yourself grace. And I continuously have to tell myself that all the time, to give myself grace, because I'm trying. I am a trying woman. If I don't do nothing else, baby, I'm going to try. And I'm trying. Every day I get up and I try. I'm doing this for my kids. I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this for my future life. And so it matters to me to keep on doing the work, even though it's hard and it's exhausting. But I found a lot of parts of myself that I didn't like. I found a lot of parts of my life that I didn't like. I found things that I had allowed that were not okay. I found a lot of ways that I was bleeding on other people. I found a lot of ways that I was, that I made other people pay for other people's mistakes, I guess. And then I got to the point where, okay, this is my life. You have to accept it at this point. Now you have to do the part where you accept it. You have what, you have the fact that you want to heal. You have your why. You have the parts of yourself that you don't like. You have who you don't want to be. Now accept that shit. This is the life that you have gotten or created or whatever up until this point. I accept that. I accept who I am. Because even though she isn't the woman that I know she can be, I love her and I forgive her. And I'm sorry that she had to go through what she went through. And I'm sorry that she took a lot of stuff out on other people. And she hopes one day to mend a lot of stuff with people. Until then, I accept me for me. However, that doesn't mean that I'm going to stay the same or stay the person that I am. But I do accept it. And I'm not trying to resent myself for it. And I'm not trying to... I had to accept what I found, the parts of myself that I didn't like, and the parts of myself that was allowing other stuff. And it's hard. It's hard to do that. It's hard to accept an unperfect version of yourself, especially for me, because I am a perfectionist, and I do only like to show the good parts of myself. I do tend to present myself to the world as someone who has it together, which is a coping mechanism. But I can't do that with myself, though. Like, I can't do that with myself. I can't do that with God. I can't do that with my therapist. I can't show the perfect version of myself to myself, which means, like, I can't resent the person that I was or am. I have to be like, this is who you've been, and that is okay. You're okay. You are okay. And you're choosing to be better and do better and change. And that's all. And that's that's the first step. And that's the first thing to the rest of your life. So that's kind of like the first part of like the whole healing. But I think I'm in the phase right now of, one, needing community, but two, not carrying. Like I said before, I can't be the person that I want to be. I can't move how I want to move. I can't be the woman that I want to be. I can't be the mom, the future wife, the daughter, the worker, the anything that I want to be if I keep carrying shit that is no longer mine. I keep carrying the weight of my past. It's no longer mine. I keep carrying the weight of my childhood. I love her, but I want to become the woman who would have protected her. So I can't carry it anymore because I got to become the person who would have looked out for her. I can't carry people's perception of me because I think that's been a big thing of my life, is how people view me, which is why I present myself in a certain way that I do. because I hate being perceived. I think a lot of people do hate being perceived. Being perceived is like weird because a lot of the times people's perception is not accurate. And you have to too know that people's perception a lot of the times is their projection. Like they see you for maybe what they lack in themselves, or they see you for what they wish they had, or whatever the case is. But a lot of times it's not even real, and it's not even who you are as a person. It's just other people's shit that they're trying to pile onto you. So that is kind of where I'm at, is letting all of the stuff that is not my responsibility to carry anymore go. I think putting down certain wounds, and putting down people's perceptions, and putting down people's insecurities, and putting down how people feel about you and people's opinions of you tends to make room for better things. And so now you have to be like, well, do I even deserve that? Because a lot of times I don't feel like I deserve like anything good, really. And I'm still working through that part. But like feeling like I deserve anybody being nice to me, because I'm so used to carrying the weight of other people's negative opinions about me. And so putting that down means that now I have to be able to accept people's positive opinions about me. And that sounds easy, because it's like, well, yeah, of course people are going to say positive stuff about you, but of course you want someone to say something positive about you, but it's not always easy to accept when it hasn't always been your reality, when you've been carrying the weight of people's projections for your entire life. Now being able to accept someone genuinely being nice to you is a weird feeling. So that's why I say I can't carry it anymore. I can't carry people's opinions of me anymore. If you feel whatever you feel I am, I remember watching the interview with Kehlani, and she was like, it basically, like in a nutshell, she was pretty much like, if you fuck with me, great. If you think I'm a bad person, great. If you think I'm a good person, great. Either way of how you think about me has nothing to do with me. And that is where I am at and where I'm trying to be. I don't necessarily think it doesn't matter to me whether you think I'm a good or bad person, right? Because I know me. And again, been through enough to be unshakable and to know that who I am as a person, and that your projections, whether good or bad, don't move me, because I know who I am. And that takes a lot to get to that point. And it's not always easy, and I'm not always 100% there, because people's opinions of me, it does matter. Because that's been the voice in my head my entire life, is what people have thought about me, from relationships to childhood to friendships. What people think about me has been, and I'm not afraid to admit it. Most people be like, oh, I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks about me. Okay, cool. But like, for me, what people have thought about me has stopped me from living an entire life. What people have thought about me has stopped me from being who I wanted to be, and shaped me into a version of what was acceptable for other people. So, but again, it's no longer mine to carry. Whether you like me, cool, I like you too. Whether you love me, I love you too. Whether you hate me, I don't hate you, but I'll never hate anybody, actually. But like, I hope nobody hates me. Oh my gosh. But there might be a couple people, actually. There might be an ex or two that might hate me. I am. No, I'm kidding. But whether you whether you don't like me, I don't know what to tell you. I don't actually care. It's not that I don't care, but it means me no different because I know that I haven't done anything to anybody for you to not like me. Now there are people who don't like me that very well have a reason not to, and hey, I don't know what to tell you. If you're still holding on to that, that's between you and God, babes. I don't know. But no, I'm kidding. But like, again, whether you don't like me or you do like me or you think I'm good or you think I'm bad or you think I'm this, I don't care. It's no longer mine to carry. And I think that's a beautiful place to be in, is that it's no longer mine to carry. Your perception of me is no longer mine to carry. Your opinion of me is no longer mine to carry. My any wounds from my childhood, I'm still working through all of it, but it's still no longer mine to carry. I cannot be the woman that I want to be holding on to all of that. It's too heavy. It's too heavy, and I got to put it down. I got to put it down at some point. I got to let it go at some point. I got to heal at some point. I got to become the woman that I'm meant to be at some point, because if not, then what? What was all of this for if I'm not going to fight like hell to be the woman that I am meant to be? So to be that, I got to put all that other shit down. How you feel about me, baby, that's none of my business. How you feel, unless you are God himself telling me, hey, you need to fix this. I don't know. Unless you are my children, I don't know. You know, their opinions are really the only ones that matter to me. And then obviously my future husband's opinions will obviously matter. But even him, unless he's not kissing the ground that I walk on, I'm kidding. Why do you think anything negative about me, babes? No, but I think anything, and be it now, constructive criticism is necessary. Constructive criticism is needed. I can take constructive criticism. I can be like, you can, or if you tell me how I made you feel about something. I didn't like how that made me feel, Renita. You said this and I didn't like how that made me feel. We can fix that. We can work with that. But you having I don't like her. Oh, okay. Well, that's your loss. Cause I'm a great person. I'm a great friend. And it took me so long to say that, and mean it, that I am worth having around, and I'm worth getting to know, and I'm worth sticking around for, and I'm worth being patient for. I'm worth, I will cry. Yeah, I'm worth it. So because of that, though, I can't worry about how somebody feels about me, or I can't keep holding on to versions of myself that I'm not that person anymore. I'm not the old me anymore. And I love her though. And I will defend her, and I will still look out for her, and I will still love her, and I will still meet her with grace and understanding, because only I know why I've done the things that I've done, or said the things that I've said, or felt how I felt. Only I know that. Nobody else knows that. I don't give a fuck if you think you know me. You don't. So I can't hold too much like negativity there for the person I used to be, but I also can't carry her with me into this next phase of my life. So I gotta let her go also. You know, I gotta let the version of me go that moved for survival. Man, I want to move with love. You know, I want to move with fucking love, bro. Like, I want to love and be loved and know how to love in a healthy way. And again, I can't do that holding on to the woman I used to be, even though I love her, and she did everything that she did because that is what she knew, and no one will ever make me feel bad about it. But she served a purpose that she no longer serves anymore. And so I get to put her down, and I get to give her some rest, and I get to give her a sense of peace that we got to where we are right now because of her. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry again. I've been crying like all week actually, so it does. So this might just be, bitch, I'm supposed to be on my period next week. So please, I can't. But yeah, she served her purpose. She really did. The woman I used to be, even the woman I was yesterday, she served a purpose, and and I love her, and I love her, and I love her, and I love her, and I honor her, but she can't come with me to this next chapter. So I do have to put her down because she's too heavy to carry now. Because she doesn't serve a purpose anymore, I guess. So I think that is the phase of healing that I'm in. Wow, that was emotional. But and I want to touch more on that obviously when I get my podcast. Like I said, this is just me healing out loud. I don't mean to be cringe and weird on the internet or like recording myself crying or whatever, but man, it's so important to me to talk about this stuff. And it's so important for me to do this out loud, as uncomfortable as it is, vulnerable. And I am not good at being vulnerable at all. Please, I am going to record this, and later on I'm gonna be like, I can't post this because this is too vulnerable. Everybody's gonna blah blah blah. But like, that's another reason why I can't hold on to other people's perception of me anymore, because if not, I won't share the message, and maybe somebody needs it. So I got to get out of my own shit to be like, hey, this isn't about me. Right? Even though, okay, this episode is about me, but it's not like, this might be for somebody else. Right? So I can't worry about what negative opinion somebody might have about it. Or if maybe somebody doesn't receive it, or maybe somebody like, oh, this or that. It's no longer mine. All right, cool. Feel how you feel. Think what you think. I know me, and I know that this is a genuine feeling that I've had for a really long time. I wrote about this at the beginning of the year, about not carrying any other weight from my past, not carrying people's opinions of me anymore, not carrying people's projections of me, not carrying childhood wounds, not carrying mother wounds, not carrying father wounds, not carrying failed relationships, not carrying failed friendships, not carrying any of that with me anymore, because it no longer serves a purpose. I know exactly who I want to be. I also know who I've been. And if not great, she was who she was. But I wouldn't be the woman I am right now had I not been her. So I can't be mad at her. I can't hold too much animosity towards her or beat myself up for stuff that I used to do or say or whatever, because at the end of the day, nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody knows how to love for real. Nobody knows how to love a healthy way. Nobody knows how to do any of this shit. I mean, for the most part, really nobody does. That's what growth is. That's what going through this is. And that's why healing, in my opinion, is so important. And finding out why you want to heal and figuring out how to get there is so important, because if you don't get there, just think about what staying the same will cost you, right? What is staying who you are? Who is that going to cost you? What is that going to cost you? And it costs too much. It was costing me too much to stay who I was. It was way too fucking expensive to stay the woman that I was. As much as I love her and I honor her, baby had to go. She had to get on up out of here. I couldn't take her anymore. She was doing a lot. She was crazy, girl. No, she was doing a lot of things, and I had to let her go because she was just moving wild girl. But we love her. So at some point, I would love to reintroduce myself to anybody that I've once known. No, I'm kidding. Allow me to reintroduce, please. Don't be corny. But hopefully, and I do get super excited for people who meet me now. Because the person you're meeting now, the woman that you're meeting now, oh gosh, you are very lucky, because before, please. No, she wasn't that bad. She just was, she cared too much about what people thought about her, which is why I said it's no longer mine to carry any of it. And it feels so good to let all that down, to put all of it down, because it's too heavy to carry. And I hope that, and I wish that for everybody else, to put it down. People's perception of you, put it down. People's opinions of you, put it down. Your childhood, work through that shit. Face that shit, heal through that shit, and let that shit go. Because it doesn't serve you anymore. You know? And the breakups, that person broke your heart, I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that. But you got to heal and you got to let it go. Out there waiting to love you, but they can't love you because you're holding on to what somebody did to you. Okay, they did it. They're lost. Fuck them. You know, but your friends hurt you doesn't mean that you can't have good, genuine friendships now. And I had to learn that. I haven't always been a good friend, and I haven't really always had the healthiest friendships, even though I loved if I've called you my friend, I loved you and I still love you to this day. And that's never going to change. Even if I'm distant, or even if I'm, to myself or whatever, it's just because I'm trying to work some shit out. And I'm just trying to work some stuff out with myself. It's just a me and God season right now. And I'm trying to foster or develop other relationships that I think kind of that serve a purpose for me right now also. But still, if I've ever said I've loved you, if I've ever called you a true, like a best friend or whatever, I still love you. I'm always going to love you. And we're always going to be friends. I don't give a fuck what you say, bitch. No, but yeah, but it's still the version of me that wasn't a good friend, or the version of me that wasn't this or whatever, is no longer mine to carry. And it's no longer mine to carry because the shit just got too heavy. Bars. It's the bars. Thank you so much. It just got too heavy to be that person and to cry about this, or to be hurt about this and whatever, because I can't go back, right? I can't go back. I can't change it. I can't do anything but move forward. But you gonna move forward with all that weight on you? No, I can't do that. You can move forward. You're gonna move forward. Like, if you stay the person that you are, life is gonna keep going, and you're gonna change. You're gonna grow, but you're gonna grow with all that weight on you. And for me personally, I couldn't do it. I couldn't stay with that on me, because it was the reason why I was drinking so much. It was the reason why I was allowing certain people to treat me a certain way, or I was treating people a certain way. So how am I ever going to have anything real? Or, like I said before, and I'm probably just repeating myself at this point, but like, I want real love. I want real healthy fucking love, but I'm never going to have it if I'm trying to grow and be the woman that I want to be, but I'm still mad at bro. Like, or I'm still hurt about this, or I'm still beating myself up for losing somebody, or making a mistake, or making bad decisions, or whatever I did. How I'm going to find the love of my life. And I know he's out there. I know he's out there. I'm waiting for you. Come back to me. No, I'm kidding. But like, or find me. Come find me, please. No, but I think I'm not. I just know that I can't find or be or have what I want out of life, carrying such a heavy load of my past and my trauma. Now that is a little bit harder to let go of, because trauma is such a real thing. And it's such a heavy thing. So I haven't dealt with really a lot of that yet. When I do, I will let everyone know. But until then, we are working on what we're working on, and we're getting past what we're getting past. And I'm so fucking proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself. The woman that I am becoming, I'm so fucking proud. Because it took me so long to get here. It took me 34 years to get here. And it has not been easy. Lord, it hasn't been easy. My goodness, it's been trials and tribulations. I am waiting for my dog is here. She wants me to pet her, please. It's been nothing but trials and tribulations this life, you know what I mean? And that is my oven. Okay. But yeah, it's been nothing but trials and tribulations this life. My goodness, I'm tired. But no, I wouldn't trade it for the world, because again, I wouldn't be who I am right now had I not been that person. So I don't know. I hope any of this makes sense. I hope any of this means anything to anybody. Again, if you have had a shitty week like I have, DM me and let's vent. You want to trauma dump? Come trauma dump in my DMs, please, because I don't know. But if you are on a healing journey, or, you know, maybe you want to, you know, you need somebody to talk through the healing process with or whatever, again, DMs, comments, always open. I am a stranger, but again, my name is Renita, and this is Excuse Me While I Heal Out Loud. It is a mini series to my podcast that comes out in May, People, Places, Things. And yeah, this is just some healing talk. This is just some growth talk. This is just some we got to get better talk. And we got to get better. When you know better, you do better. And I want all of us to know better, do better, and have better. Because I think there's good out there, but one, you got to know that you deserve it. I'm still working on that. You got to know that you deserve it. You got to know that you are worth good shit happening to. And I hope you know that you are worth good shit happening to. But until next time, bye.